Hi. My name is Stephen Powers. I'm in awe of the last two people that spoke, and I'm going to present something a little more selfish, I guess. Can I get some love here? Am I doing this right? Am I pointing in the right direction? Anyway, I'll just go on my way. So I got myself into a very funny position in the last few years of when, you know, a long time ago, I used to be a graffiti writer, and, you know, usually when you saw my work, you were told that this is a neighborhood in decline, and now, years later, as a grown-up artist, I am called to neighborhoods that are on the cusp of regeneration, is a polite way of saying it, or gentrification, as a harbinger of more positive growth that is about to emerge in the given area that I'm working in. So it's a fun and fascinating place to be, and it's led me to here in Brooklyn. Building on what Kelly was talking about earlier, I had the opportunity to create a public art project in downtown Brooklyn at the beautiful corner of Hoyt and Livingston. As I grew up in Philadelphia, and as a Philadelphia resident, I used to travel to the Fulton Mall to get what I thought was stolen polo, but it was actually bootleg polo, bought right off the streets of the Fulton Mall. The Fulton Mall has like really wide sidewalks, so guys could set up, like, lay out perfect polo shirts for blocks. And they kind of gave you the, you know, they let you assume, make your own assumption that these might have fallen off the back of the truck. But after a couple washings, you realize how poorly made they were, and the joke was on me. But I was able to return in 2010 and start talking about this project. And it was, you know, I could spend another 40 minutes telling you the ins and outs of like getting the project, actually getting to the point of putting paint on the wall. But I'll just cut to the chase and say that we did a project similar to this in Philadelphia when we talked to about 5,000 people. In Brooklyn, we talked to one, a gentleman named David Villarante, who grew up in Fort Greene, and he had memories of going to Macys when it was called Abraham and Straus. He's got pictures of himself with the Easter Bunny. He's got pictures of himself with Santa Claus. And this whole neighborhood is just hardwired into him and his memory. And as a person that grew up in this neighborhood, that was being pushed to the fringes of this neighborhood, he was a great person to talk to, because what we wanted to do more than all was capture a voice that was going away in the neighborhood and make it permanent. So we painted, and we painted. And what Dave really took, what Dave's thing on, you know, Dave's perspective on the neighborhood was that he loved the fact that downtown Brooklyn for him represented that he could take any train anywhere in the city was his, and it would lead him back. He could take those trains back to where he started, and he could walk home in a variety of different directions, and he just loved that about it. So, you know, I'm not really making War and Peace here. I'm just trying to get a tone from him and translate that conversation into visual communication. So around the top of the building in 18-foot tall letters that I found the font on the inside of the garage. It says, you take any train, you meet me downtown for a few, and every street will carry us home. You can actually see home if you're riding down Flatbush from the bridge. You can see home. It's a nice little, it'll probably be obscured with the new Albee Square Mall that they're rebuilding, but life goes on. Now, there's 3 99-cent stores at the bottom of this building here. They all have, you know, the radio tuned to Z100, so you're always inundated with like whatever the new pop music is when you go into these stores. And so we did a poem on the side that was dedicated to them, using the word 99 over and over again. That's for you and me. But the thing that really kind of pushed the envelope was Macys put up the money for this, and Macys has kind of had, you know, there's been some back and forth with Macys in the community because the store is not as nice as 34th Street, and it's not as well stocked, and the prices are, you know, maybe even higher than 34th Street, you know, according to some sources. But, you know, when I presented all the artwork to them and all the words that I was going to paint on this building, on one side of the building, on the other side of the building on Hoyt Street, it said, I was nurtured here and I was sutured here. And there was a real pushback with sutured. They didn't want sutured. Sutured really got them nervous. And I said, well, we argued about it for 20 minutes, and I said, listen, are you sure there's nothing else on the building that you would object to? Be sure, because, if I'm going to give this point, I'm not giving anything else. So I resent the file, and on the back of the building, it says, sleepless entrepreneur, it says, 100 hustlers hustle for hundreds. Sleepless entrepreneur turns $1 into $4. Barkers call me into stores. Some are selling rockets, some are checking pockets, some are on the docket. I walk blocks with money in sock, past pitfalls that face me to buy clothes at Macys. And this is Dave's story at the end of 6th grade, in circa 1980. That was him, sneaking up, trying to get to Macys for the first time. He was alone, and he was able to buy clothes on, the money that was in his sock. And so it told a story that just doesn't exist anymore. It tells of a Brooklyn that doesn't exist anymore. And in some ways it's better, in some ways it's a lot worse. And Macys, I never heard from them again. So we painted the wall, we proceeded to paint the wall, capture this voice, enshrine this voice, and it's there now, So one positive thing that happened in correlation with this was they renovated the hot dog stand next door. They pulled off all the scaffolding. They realized the same lettering that I painted 6 months before was extant underneath all the awnings and stuff, the 70s and 80s decorations they had done. And that's it. I wish I could tell you more, but there's not. I love creating public artwork. And what I'm really sincerely in love with now is talking to people, getting a conversation going, translating that conversation into visual communication, and then hopefully people taking ownership of it. I'm really proud of the fact that a lot of Brooklyn people enjoy this wall, and they believe in this building, and they like it a lot, and they've taken ownership of it. And it goes beyond just, a sculpture that's dumped in a downtown plaza. It's something that people feel it's their voice, and it's speaking to them, and it's speaking through them. I had a funny thing come up just recently where I'm teaching a class at Parsons this semester, and I took a group of kids out. I took a group of kids out to Jersey City, and we asked Jersey City about what they loved and hated about Jersey City, and I designed a wall that said, they really loved the fact that they were close to the city, so I designed a wall that said, close to you, and it had 2 slices of pizza, because they were really into pizza too. And the mayor's office rejected it. They said, we're too insecure for this. We can't let you do this. So you can only try. Thank you.